Well, what's poppin', everybody? Happy Saturday. Book club is starting to become a book discussion with Imani and Marcus. So welcome to our
Oh
podcast. No, I'm excited to get into this next book. Hopefully, we get more people to dive into the discussion with us. But if not, honestly, I enjoy being able to discuss it at least with one other person. Low key, I'm glad you hopped on because if not, I was gonna have a discussion about like us just not doing it just because I would like a sense of consistency and I can literally just read the books, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not tripping about that either. But
yeah.
I'm glad you hopped on and if you commit to staying here with me, you know what I'm saying? I'll commit to showing up too. And we can
Down?
make it.
Because listen, I've been thinking this for a while now. I'm like, okay, book club has changed drastically at the same time. Like it's so a part of my weekly schedule. It's been a part of my weekly schedule for years now. And I don't feel like, do I have like, is it gonna be over? Do I have to change and go to another group? I'm like, I will rock out with you. I am dead serious. Like, I would really rock out with you if it's just us. And
Okay.
then the thought is in my soul, I feel like over time, people will come back. I think just book club is in a interesting state right now. However, I get it.
It's okay.
Book
No,
club,
it's high.
yeah,
I definitely feel like a hiatus too. And then it's like it's funny because we're reading this book now. It's called The Way of Integrity, and it's just like the acknowledgement of reality, right? And so in that aspect, before I was even like we are hopping on this thing, and yo, I opened this thing up at 10:30, so I'm sitting
yeah.
here, I'm just like, yo, what are we doing? Because
I
if
typically
we're
always
gonna
hop on at 11.
yeah, I know you do. I know you do because we usually start it at 11, which is totally fine. But with that, I was like, I can push it back to 11. It's just you and me, and we're just about to like one or two songs, three songs. And like the discussion ourselves, we usually keep it between 30 minutes to 40 minutes, like max, not just because we're bouncing ideas on. But yo, if you're still committed to it, no, I'll still be committed to show up. But I just want to make sure that you're still willing. And if you're not, then it's okay. But I just like if it's just me, then I can read. So, you know,
Like I'll just read on a daily. I get that. Okay, so honestly, like my heart of hearts, I would love to keep doing like the discussion in book club because it's actually really fun. Like being able to read and learn and make notes and then be able to discuss it. It like really reinforces all of the discussions and the like the thoughts that I've gotten from, and so far so good. I love this book already. I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for this book and it's gonna be
I
great. I picked this book club
know.
and
Look, I was literally about to give you flowers and have you kick us off for that exact reason. But okay, cool. I wanted to get in touch with the lay of the land since it's Imani and myself, been
yeah,
looking at for the last few weeks. So
gang gang
I'm totally fine with that too. I just like I said, I just wanted to get clarity just so I know what's happening versus like what I'm attempting to have happen. But there's just some people like just going through life and I literally invite people to this every single week. So um like the only thing that would change for me is like not inviting people. If it was just if we decided to like discontinue it, you know what I'm saying? But I also believe in it picking up eventually as well. And
Okay.
I really think the space is designed for that, right? Because you always get to have a different perspective over what you're reading through other people's experiences, wisdom, and paradigms as they're reading it too. It's one of the things I've enjoyed about book club for the last 4 years. Kind of crazy, but it's definitely a part of my identity as well. And in a season of like continual transition, I feel like the Lord has been refining and transforming a lot of my um priorities and values. So
Okay.
I still value personal development and continual character growth. So this is part of that, and I'm gonna read regardless. But I love to serve and like help people as well, which is why I hold this space. But I appreciate you, and cool. I'm glad we were able to. for all to
Yeah.
know. Well, welcome. Until you guys decide to join us, this will be sort of like our own little podcast. And
Hey.
I still gotta go look at your podcast too. So I appreciate you letting me know the info there. And for those who don't
Yeah.
know, yes, Imani has a podcast. Go check her out. Okay, but that being said, yeah, so we're reading The Way of Integrity by Martha Beck. This year has been very strategic in aligning exactly how to set the rest of the year. Now that we're in quarter two officially, quarter one was really getting us locked and loaded to identify where we're at and how to move forward with actual alignment. So, shout out Imani for recommending this book. By the title, I knew it was going to be something very impactful. And having come off of a will where we had to kind of reflect and go through some things inwardly or some experiences that we might have, I like to say, buried underneath a lot of dirt that you have to dig through. I think this
Hmm.
is the case for the rest of honestly where we're headed, because in order to steward over major blessings, you need to be your most authentic self, and prepared to do that. And I think this is going to definitely set the pace. But Amani, you can kick us off, girl. We read introduction, chapter one and two. Go ahead.
All right. You said intro what?
Yeah, it was
You
the intro and then chapter one and two.
okay, good. Because I was hoping we were going to go through the intro because the intro kind of like kicked it off for sure. Like I don't even usually read the intro most of the time. Y'all
Usually
just
intros are a lot shorter than this intro too, but she did a great job of setting the pace and setting the scene, getting you a nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she freaking did. Okay, I got two phones, y'all. Hold on. Let me just
I got two bones.
That's what I said that. Okay. Hey, what's up, book club? Happy Saturdays. The recording. Welcome to the discussion with Jasmine and Mark.
But,
Welcome.
you're so funny.
Freaking, this is so good. It's good though. I'm happy to go through these notes because okay, y'all, this book has been amazing so far. Like really, just off of the intro, I was like, and it on it, this book actually. So even though me and Will was not my favorite, it still gave so much insight and so many like core things. It's kind of weird how the placement was, but it's also kind of interesting how the placement is too, from going from, oh my gosh, winning. Yeah, going from winning to will, and now in this book, integrity, like it's crazy to see the success, what it takes to be successful in very hustle culture, like environments, where it's more paced at go, 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 go. There's no time for balance. There's no time for this. This is what it is, winning now. And then the mindset of it, but also discussing personal health, which has been to me a theme. It's a theme right now of like freaking the books we're reading, because personal health came up in winning, and it came up in Will when
When he was
he
talking
was
about his
going.
mistakes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it came up in Will because he was living his own personal hell. And you can see that these people know what living in a personal hell looks like and feels like, most importantly. And now here we are in Integrity, where she is actually going through Dante's Inferno, which now makes me want to read this book because I mean, I have not gotten into old literature yet. I've read old literature books plenty of times, but like to read Dante's Inferno and to really get the insight, because it is sounding like, well, it's not sounding like, she is comparing Dante's journey through hell and purgatory to our human experience of living personal hell from being split on the inside. Our true nature and what we want versus our cultural desires. Yeah, like our cultural desires, these people,
Yeah.
like being in a world, especially in the West, in Western society in general, like obviously the world, everywhere in the world, culture has like certain things that people aspire for. Wow, it's raining so hard. Is it raining over there?
Not yet. I'm literally supposed to run a half marathon today, so I'm kind of annoyed.
Oh,
I
oh,
I kind of like having in my brain to still go regardless and just like take my phone in a plastic bag and just be in the
yeah.
el and just run. I want to be like Forrest Gump out
You
here.
know? All right, run, Forrest, run. Just take a shot of apple cider vinegar, a little ginger, a little turmeric. Get your immune system pumped and safe and ready for this. If you do it, is it one of those rain or shine kind of situations?
Like I had it on my calendar in order to meet my goal of 5 workouts this week and getting my half marathon in for my workout regimen. I want to say yes.
Oh,
So
okay,
I'm
gotcha.
training for a marathon and I ran a half marathon on my own mid-February. And my goal is to run a half marathon every 30 to 45 days while maintaining a goal of 30 miles a month as I prepare for running a 26.2 mile marathon. I've been training for like the last year to,
That's a full
yeah. So like I'm like, dude, do I
that.
for some rain, bro? For some rain? Just kidding. No, but I know it might be like an actual thunderstorm and I'm scared for lightning. And it's like it's not like oh, it's a nice light spring shower. It's supposed to like we're in Texas. You already know the vibes. Like the storm cells are crazy.
Giving monsoon.
Yeah.
It's
Down like that?
huh?
It's coming down like that right now over there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you I
I
don't
can't
even know
hear
how
it.
to flip this. Can you see it? I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, it does look like a lot of rain.
monsoon. Okay,
I'm just gonna go
so
for it and see how I do.
good luck.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work.
I
You're
pre
pretty buff out here. I always say this, you're pretty buff out here. Like Marcus is out here buff, bro. Y'all, he is like, I am in the prime shape.
Hey,
Okay.
dude, I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. Like, you have no idea. It's just a compound effect. And I had like like, I talked to a homeboy of mine, Wale, for the first time in like
Mhm.
a month, just 'cause I've been locked in, just where life has got me. He's like, bro, just hold on real quick, bro. Your shoulders and your chest, bro. And I was like, dude, thank you so much. And like,
No,
sometimes
dead ass.
I be looking at the mirror and I'm like, I just don't be seeing it because it's just compounding and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, shout out consistency. Hashtag winning.
Consistency is everything. Because I've been noticing in like over the past year, I'm like, this nigga getting real buff out here.
Hey, look, no one told me different. My friends be telling me the truth, true. We out here integrities. All right, bet. My apologies for the crazy tangent, but I appreciate you.
I know, huh? Just okay.
It's back
It's
to
a discussion, y'all. This is welcome to
normal
the
podcast
book club podcast.
addressing. Yeah, normal podcast for bro. I can't wait till you invite me as a guest on your podcast.
Oh my gosh, you know, you got to come on as a camp counselor for real. I'm telling you, you'll be a recurring role.
I bet.
Okay, so okay, so in the intro, the author she was going against her own, and there it is again. There's the theme. These people have gone through their personal hell and have had the moment where it shifted. It's like it's crazy because it's not like an instant shift. Like you're going through this personal hell on a daily basis, but there's a key moment that flips that and turns it into now I am walking in integrity. Now I'm out of my personal hell. Now I'm actually enjoying my life versus hating it. So she talks about how
Great way to summarize that.
she was a teacher, I guess. I
A professor,
that's
yeah.
Yeah, she's a professor. Okay. And she was getting paid to talk at her students. She hated that. But she loved talking to them about like, they're just personal selves goals and like truth. And she ended up getting paid to do this, what she loved. You see? And then she started her journey as a life coach. So the crazy thing is, she is like just basically saying integrity is the cure for unhappiness. So her best work is helping people see where they have abandoned their own sense of truth. And then she follows, like, following some others. What the heck? Following some other set of directives. And this is where the Western society, the cultural society shift happens, where people are living their lives through what they are seeing in prominent society, like whatever culture is most important to you. So for me, I'm an American woman, I'm an American Black woman. I have like these set standards, and we're Marcus, you're American too. So you can, like this is a capitalist society. And in order to, it's all, they basically show it like capitalism basically shows this perfect vision, aka the American dream. And I'm speaking specifically from what I know, which is you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a degree, you get a good job, you get married, you have children, you have the nice dog, the house, the car, and everything will be fine. And due to like all these economic crises right now, that is just not as possible
Yeah.
for everyone. And she is saying that this is not the answer to living a fulfilled and happy life. Integrity is, because within yourself, she talks about having true nature. Okay, I think I'm just like honestly bouncing all over the place because
That's
this
okay.
is,
It's your take on everything you read, so it's all good.
yeah, it's
I,
just, okay,
I do want to
it's
agree with
so,
you though, real quick. Like,
yeah,
and then this is the last time I kind of cut you off. I apologize. But the what you said in terms of like the economic state and where everything is at, it's really difficult. And it's honestly been the most um uncemented financial environment that not just the United States has seen, but the entire globe, right?
yep, correct.
A lot of people are like, bro, I just pumped gas for 377. I was like, this is wild. And that's like nothing compared to other states, right? But we literally have oil refineries right here in Texas. So the fact that we have the source and I was pumping 377 and my $30 just a month ago took me way more than $30 today. And we've seen that like work with experiential necessities, food. Like people are struggling with what to do externally based on what's happening internally. So
Yes,
I agree with you 100% in terms of like integrity now more than anything is something that goes against what the culture of the United States has taught us and what we live around, but also the implications of if you decide to be swayed this way or that because of what's happening around you. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people are starting to struggle because they're not living in integrity. So like,
correct,
yeah,
correct. Because they're doing exactly what she says. And let me go to my notes
yeah,
because she
that's a great
actually
point
said,
though. I just wanted to give you flowers on that. That's why.
absolutely, thank you. Um, but it's like so true when where does she bring it up? I think this is, yeah, she brings that up in chapter 2. People are desperate for success. And she gives a great example, which I won't bring up because it's hilarious. But it was about a man who needed to get better at something. And she said, if it's not working, don't do it harder. The integrity split in our current state of,
Yeah.
just living as humans right now is, and I can tell just by like how the conversations that I have with people, how I'm feeling with myself. And that is even like another cultural. Okay, let me slow down. So she talks about like the fact that you cannot, this is in chapter 2. She saying that working harder at something is not going to help. It's not going to alleviate the pain. She said, realizing like we are off course, we should slow down instead of actually trying to go harder and hustle more and make more money and realize like for us personally in the globe America, we're struggling with finances and being able to afford things that our grandparents were able to afford much easier than we can. So now it becomes this split where our natural selves is so sick of being having to hustle and make so much money just to survive. It's more like, how can we live better lives without money? And then on the other hand, it's how can I make the money to live the life that I want to live? And as she goes through Dante's Inferno, what did she say? The dark wood, because that was what this
Everyone is lost in the woods.
first, huh?
Chapter 1 is lost in the woods. It's like the first phase is Dante's
Yes, she called it the dark wood.
yes,
No?
the dark wood of error. That's what he
Yeah, the dark wood of Era. Okay. I am seeing this as like a very scary dark forest that you're kind of just like going through. That's what I'm picturing in my head. But okay, so then her cure for unhappiness is integrity. And she even brings up physics and about how like it works internally as well. Because, how did we get so far off course? Mm, how healing the division in the inner world is so important in order to gain, like, for me, I want to say it's like freedom. I feel like it's freedom, it's liberation. But what does freedom and liberation mean to you? What is most important for you? She even talks about that, saying like telling the truth about how lost we are. Because in the first couple chapters, and I think this is the first 3 chapters, is the Darkwood era, where she talks about how the lost phase of it all, where we don't know. Being lost is crazy. I just recently went through this last year in the end of my property management career because I moved here to Texas thinking that one day I'm going to become a property manager. And I climbed that ladder. I did it. I made it. I got there and I hated it. I hated every moment of it. My brain, I was physically exhausted. I couldn't breathe and I was over it. I'm like, man, but I'm making good money. I can actually take care of everything. Like, I don't have to struggle. But I was so deeply unhappy. And he actually talked about how the symptoms of one of them is physical illness. Let me actually go through the symptoms of like Darkwood era. So crazy. Feeling purposeless, emotional misery, physical illness, relationship habits you can't break. I think there was one more. But as she breaks down how our inner world being split can truly manifest in our lives, the integrity is crucial to bring it together. Because now you're choosing what your inner world desires, what makes you happy on a day to day basis. And that is the key. It's never money. You have, of course, like keeping your roots and being grounded and stable is very important. A lot of times that doesn't necessarily have to do with money though. Monetary value is something that we place, or I would say society places on us in order to feel like we have some kind of success. But as she talks about in the book, you can't the amount. climb Mount something. And what did she call it? No, I'll get there. Um, but feeling purposeless and people like living without feeling any kind of purpose. Oh my gosh, that's so painful because even I think about like where sometimes where my purpose is and checking in with myself, learning over years of learning myself through these personal development books, absolutely, and understanding like where I fit in this life, what I feel is best for me. She actually does an exercise in the book too, talking about like, thinking of a feeling, thinking of something that like genuinely makes you happy, right? And write down the first thing you think of. And the first thing I thought of, I was like, oh my God, and I felt like a physical reaction to it in my body. I was just like, oh my God. And that's where the science comes in too, because it's like your body wants this, your soul wants this. And this is how you can actually live a life of integrity with yourself because you're not following the noise, what's in front of you, what you're seeing on your phone.
Mhm.
You're following your inner guidance, your natural sense of self, which is way more important than anything money can buy. Money cannot buy these things, which is why you see a lot of wealthy people desperately unhappy or ruthless as hell because they're just, full of dark, desperate energy to find some kind of peace within their selves, which is that emotional misery. And then the physical illness, how it comes up in your body and can deteriorate you from the inside out. Body's not in integrity. Um, the consistent relationship failures at the end of my property management career, maybe even like the second time I went back, I realized that the people I had known changed a lot. The people that I met and had relationships, they were failing. It didn't feel right. I was doing stupid stuff with the wrong people, trying to just be in the mix. And like, I knew it was what I wanted to do at that moment. But of course, being in that dark wood era, the decline started to happen. So I became more and more unhappy. So, like, of the bad habits, not sleeping, not cleaning, not being able to go outside and just drinking, binging, all kinds of things. Like that's what happens when you're lost. When you don't know who you are, what you want, what your true desires are outside of what you've been told. So saying the truth out loud was such a good exercise as well. Like she says these different like prompts of which ones sound good to you, like which one gave your body an emotional reaction. And when I did mine, like again, this tingling sensation, like I felt alive. I felt just like when she said, like, what brings you happiness, thinking of like what your actual desires are. I'm like, okay, Martha, okay. Um, so yeah, in chapter two, as she's talking about the problem isn't you're not working hard enough. The problem is that you're working on stuff that's not right for you. Your goals and motivations are not harmonized with your deepest truth. Oh, because I for sure like hate working for a living. That is like it's the worst feeling ever for me personally. So every time I go into work, I don't feel right. And I've been wondering how I can change this. So just her giving that exercise in the previous chapter of, telling, saying your truth out loud. My thing is, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I feel lost in these times because although I have more direction, like with podcasts and stuff, and I'm able to be more creative, I'm writing a lot more creatively, and it feels really good to get back to that self because that was myself before before college, before alcohol, before drugs, before endless amounts of people in my life, um, I still in these moments don't feel like myself. And I'm really tired of feeling like I have to like hate what I do. Uh, I don't want to feel like that. So I just continue to write and create because that's what makes me happy right now. And she, like her talking about how happiness, like how people believe that happiness will arrive when people have more, is such an important thing to understand. Understanding that these things you think might bring you happiness might not bring you happiness. You know, she says this is based by society, and she even brings up trends across history, which one of the trends is the Chinese women bounding their feet. And that was a whole thing. It was they made them little tiny, wrap their toes into these like little triangle shoes because that's crazy. That's a beauty trend that
Yeah,
people
they literally deformed their feet. It's actually wild.
deformed and mangled their feet. And there's a woman, I don't know if she's still alive. She was like one of the only women left with the feet, and you can see them like her toes was like in there. And then she talks about how women in the Victorian era wore arsenic laced something. Then okay, even now having the best Christian Louis Vuitton, you know, like having the red bottoms from every woman I've heard wear them say they are painful as hell. Heels are painful. Wearing well, for me, wearing makeup on a day-to-day basis is so uncomfortable. But a lot of times, these are what we see on social media or in media in general, telling us like this is how people are happy. What they're not telling us is that this is someone else's passion. What's yours? Where do you feel that invigorating feeling, knowing, like imagining what you're truly yearning for? And she says the physical reaction to envisioning, oh no, I said that, but like just talking about like the physical reaction to envisioning the things we're yearning for, and then how advertising is not from our true natural selves. Mount Delectable, that's what she called it. Mount Delectable, where you just like trying to climb. And the whole saying of you climbing a mountain, you get to the top, you're at the bottom of another one. It's the same thing, trying to climb this endless mountain, thinking that along the way, you're going to get to a certain point. You're going to get to the very top and you're going to have everything you want. That's not how it works. She says that what your what your body, what your life, what you yearn for is the things that make you happy on a day-to-day basis. Your friends, your loved ones, spending time doing these things. So, I'll wrap up here, but that is really important as well to acknowledge the very small details of day to day life are what truly bring joy because we are living our lives in these moments every single day, whether it's a Saturday book club, book podcast, a Saturday what is it like, even if you have to go and work for a living for just a hot minute, you have moments where maybe you're working with your favorite coworker and the time may be going by. Now the time could be going by fast because you're with your favorite coworker, and even though you got to be at work dealing with other BS, you are spending time and laughing and enjoying yourself. There are so many moments like that I truly am so grateful for because it's what keeps me going. And I realize that's where life truly is. So I'm very excited to see where this book is headed because I definitely have felt the lost era, and I still feel like I'm like trying to find my way out of that. I'm almost there. I'm touching it, but I just don't feel it internally just yet. So hopefully she can just help me out because goddamn, damn, I'm trying to live. I'm trying to live. Okay, thanks for listening. Okay, go ahead, Marcus.
What's up? We've got a special guest on the podcast joining in, Mr. Steele. Welcome, bro. It's nice.
Oh, Miguel.
What up, though? What's happening? What's happening? The
No,
podcast is
honestly,
crazy.
huh?
The podcast is crazy. Special guest. Let's get it. Honestly, literally, I was moving and grooving, seeing Antoine for his birthday this morning.
You're
I was
good, bro.
like, oh, snap, it's 11 something. So we here. I'm glad I'm here for the meet.
Yeah. No, it was funny because
Hey,
we
I
honestly
appreciate that
haven't
take, you man. That was fire. I
talked
haven't even
about.
honestly got the book yet, and I was just reading through chapter one and two on chat. I broke it down the whole thing, and in that, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is fire." Nigga, I remember the conversation now. This is crazy, and
Yeah.
it's a crazy alignment. So I was like, "Let's go." I'm excited, and then they're hearing you just now.
Yeah.
So go ahead, take it away, Marcus.
We were honestly discussing at the beginning of the call because she had hopped on around like 11 and we didn't get started till like almost like 11:30. And just like staying tuned with integrity, and a lot of what she talks about in the introduction is an acceptance of truth and reality and knowing what is and being in alignment with where you're really supposed to go, or if you're in misalignment. And I was like, yo, you still want to do this? Or so so I was like, I'm gonna have a conversation as well with Mr. Steele, but I can just read on my own. Like I'm not tripping, good. I want to make sure that if we got the time, I was like, bare minimum money. It's been us two for the last few weeks. So if you want to commit to coming here, I'll still commit to being here. But other than that, like I'm okay. And we just talked about the identity that we've grown with the book club, and essentially we we made the most of the situation. We are like, well, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the podcast. Another week with Miss with Amani and Marcus. Let's go.
I mean, hell, we've had plenty of weeks where it's just been you and I,
I know it.
so
I
I
know.
understand the vibes.
So
No,
we're just like,
it's
yo,
definitely something that I want to do.
let's
Life is just getting crazy hectic because I play a lot of, honestly, I have a lot of roles in my life right now as I was reading about these roles.
yeah,
But truth be told, see, life is busy.
yeah,
But I think that maybe this was just not I feel like we had kind of had this conversation in the beginning of the year when we were planning this out. Like we were kind of going to see exactly how this was going to go and if it was going to be like squad just getting together or was it going to be an actual big thing and that we were going to eventually start like broadcasting it the whole nine, but
yeah.
ultimately it was going to be right here. Like I'm pretty sure we had that exact conversation as we were mapping everything out. But hey, listen, if y'all don't want to have the community of like talking about it together, I'm not tripping. I can just
Yeah,
read too.
we no,
Because
the
either way,
reason why we
I've
brought
been,
it
you
up is
know,
bro,
like
because bro, I open this thing up at 10:30 every morning, and Money hops
I
on
know.
11:05, 11. So
Trust me, I did it
those
for
30 minutes, in
four
those 30 minutes,
years.
I'm just jamming out and looking over the notes in the book, and I'm just like reading exactly what the book is saying. I'm like, what am I doing? So it's like I want to make sure that we're literally in motion and we're doing things that we're in alignment with. And that was just the discussion that we had at the beginning of the call. And
Amen.
we're just being transparent with each other. And we're like, yo, Monty goes, bro, I'm rocking with it. And you're rocking with it. I was like, all right, say less. I'm rocking with it.
Hey, listen, I'm rocking with the books. I'm reading. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I ain't nothing but about a week behind. But
Yeah.
hey, when your boy got calls and shit, I can't show up. I can't show up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's just
Exactly.
what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you guys are here and it's still getting recorded and it's still happening every single week either way.
Absolutely.
But I'm
Yeah.
gonna be here when I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like truth be told where I'm at in my life because there's so much stuff going on constantly, and I'm entering into the busiest season of the year other than Christmas for me. The whole spring from birthdays to events to trips, everything that's going on. In that, literally just like every year, it's been busy, and I've like held that mantle of being that one that opened up that Zoom for them 4 years. This year, we got a lot going on, so I'm like, I definitely have been like it hasn't been first on the totem pole as it was when we were building the brand of TGF Network. But
Mhm.
it's definitely like I'm still reading, I'm still in tune. I'm even still telling people about what I be reading in the books, even if I don't be on for the last 2 weeks. Shit, Will is sitting on my kitchen table right now because I've been in that thing, just finished that thing. So as we move forward, though, I mean, it's whatever you guys want to do. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna overcommit myself in this season because I know for a fact that it's just getting busier and busier as we're bringing a baby into the world and everything else. Like, yeah, Imani, and you know, my bad, girl, I forgot. But as I forgot that you didn't know Imani, but Marcus knows. But literally, like, my whole life is getting a hell of a lot busier. And even though, yes, we've done this and been in it in the past season, where I'm at right now is I could just read on my own too, but I would love to still chop it up with Squad about it, given the opportunity if Squad's gonna be here. Like when I hopped on, all right, cool, we on. Just like everybody else used to do to us for over the years. But I've just swapped roles because I'm shifted my focus. And you know exactly where my focus is at.
Mhm.
So, truth be told,
Yeah.
exactly what the book was talking about, like how it's just really just acting and being and moving in authenticity and exactly what you want to do and making time for what you need to make time for. On the matter of priority list, book club used to be like, I'm waking up Saturday morning, I'm opening up the music, I'm hopping on the Zoom, and I'm waiting for niggas to be there, and we gonna talk about it, whoever here, and we gonna vibe out. And I done read all Saturday morning, the whole nine. Nowadays, it's like I might book a meeting in the middle of book club, especially if the person's got the time. Or I might go and have breakfast with that person I was meaning to go and have breakfast with at that exact time and be like, hopefully they're on in 1 hour right after I finish this breakfast so I can hop on there. Like priority has completely shifted, if I'll just be honest and transparent.
What about being trans? I'm so glad you're transparent about that because that's actually like exactly what we were talking about, like how everybody is in a complete different season of their lives, and it's okay. I find it very interesting that you're not able to be here as much, but you're still reading and you're still locked in. And then I'm here, like, so switching other roles because it's like we were
Yeah.
literally like, just like, hey, you know what? If you're down, I'm down. And I was like, well, if you're down, I'm down, you know? So you saying that, it's like, yeah, this is what it is. Like, we're still rocking. It's just different. It's changing. It's a transitional period. But
Yeah.
you know what? Me and Marcus said, like, we both feel like people will come back. Like, it's not like it's, just, and whatever the case is, book club will be on its natural course. And as long as there's still people who are willing to hop on, they're willing to hop on. So that's what it is. We just gonna be moving and grooving. When you hear, you hear, you feel me? But oh my God, congratulations.
Amen. I appreciate it. I appreciate
Yes.
it. It's game time. Number three.
Hey, it's
But
all
no,
good.
we
Hey, bro,
here.
Mikhail, it was not designed to point out the fact that you were not here. I was literally just catching you up on the conversation we had prior to you being
Oh,
here. Is the
oh, my bad. I'm like, it felt that way. So I was like, let me just be authentic and
I
be
could
real.
tell,
I
I could
I can
tell.
tell you,
I
I'm like,
was like, look,
no.
bro, ain't nothing going at you, bro. Blair. It's literally the
I'm
fact
like, hey
that
y'all, you know what I'm saying? I won't hop on the Zoom if y'all don't want me to hop on the Zoom. Yeah, but
no,
we got
no,
stuff
we
to
were
do.
literally. I was catching you up with our conversation and essentially what you said, what we were talking about. So you're all good,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
I
Talking.
think we're all in alignment on where we're at.
You should
You
just
know what
take
I'm saying?
the mic.
Integrity.
So I just got a quick phone call. So go ahead, share your. I'll close this out. Go ahead.
Okay, bet. Well,
Cool,
I
cool.
mean, ultimately, it's damn near exactly what I just said. But it's literally like, as I was just reading and listening to exactly what you were talking about, like, I'm very excited to dig into the meat and potatoes. But ultimately, what I'm finding is very similar to how my life has been the last year. Is I've been asking myself these questions like, what do I actually want? What do I actually want to do? Who do I actually want to do it with? Am I actually enjoying myself doing these things? Do I feel fulfilled doing these things? Am I forcing it? Am I not forcing it? Like literally as we walked into New Year's, that was my whole life. I was literally overwhelmed to the point where I was damn near crying in anxiety and I could feel the misalignment in my life because I was about to step into a lot of stuff and I was like, yo, I got to get things correct so that they line up and I feel right about how I wake up every day so that I can continue to create this abundance that I've been creating because this season has been extremely fruitful, and I don't think that it's been on accident. It's been very on purpose, but also it's been God in the process. Shout out him because I ain't really doing that much to bring it in. I'm just letting it roll. But as we continue to let it roll and I'm relaxing, as she talked about, I've just literally been asking myself these questions over and over and making sure that I'm actually moving in as much truth as possible. Like having very honestly, sometimes even more uncomfortable conversations than not, because it's like, sorry, like this is me. And if you don't like me, shit sucks. But ultimately, this is Mikhail Steele, period. And I'm going to grow at the rate that I'm going to grow. I'm going to go at the rate that I'm going to go. And where my focus is, it is. And this is how I'm being called to live my life exactly right here, right now. So, in that, as we move and step forward in it, we're taking our progressive steps forward. But like, I've never felt more in alignment in a season of my life than I have now. A lot of little things going on the side, but truth be told, like I just been focused and things have been rolling. And ultimately, things are great. I can't complain. Truth be told, my wife don't like me smoking and stuff. We trying to figure that part out. But other than that, like literally just I'm actively working to get better and actively growing. But I just feel like I'm in alignment. Like I've been really doing exactly what the book was talking about. So it's weird that we're about to read this because I've been noticing these things of like how my body actually reacts to different things. And I was thinking about something as you were talking, like when it comes to honestly a biblical perspective of like not living for your flesh versus living for your spirit. But I think this book is really just talking about things in a different sense where it's like actually listening to your spirit and what you've got going on. What time is it? It's 12:30. It's like it's 30 minutes early. Maybe she just clicked on the link to see. But in that, yeah, y'all, I ain't gonna lie. I am excited as we move forward because reading this, I just realized that personally right now in my life, I've been more just authentically me and just look, my wife is over here laughing because she don't think I've been telling everybody that I've been smoking and she don't like that I've been smoking and shit. Because I made a commitment earlier in my life to stop smoking. And then I literally asked myself these questions and was like, why did I make that commitment? No, it's not. But in that, you be pissing people off at different times when you're literally like, yo, where am I actually at and what do I actually want? And if you stop listening to anybody else who's not living in your own head, ultimately, in order to get into alignment and then in order to shift into alignment with somebody else, it's a lot of work. But you got to get you right, period, in the process. So I don't know. It's crazy. It's a crazy season, but I'm excited to dive deeper, truth be told, as the book really helps. I think it'll literally make a lot of things clear. But reading what I read today, I'm excited to move forward. And that's just on the summary Zach gave me on the breakdown of the in between the lines. There were some questions that it asked. It said, if you live in integrity, your kids learn honesty. What's up, dude? I've been here. What's up? Your kids learn honesty without being told. Your leadership becomes predictable and trusted, and integrity builds legacy level influence. And the strategic breakdown said the strength of the book, it cuts through surface level self help, it connects psychology with spirituality and behavior, gives a clear internal compass, and it's introspective and not tactical. So you have to apply it or nothing changes. But it gave us like a execution framework for a daily integrity check. And this is the questions that I was talking about. Ask yourself, where am I not being honest? What am I tolerating that doesn't align? What truth am I avoiding? What would I do today if I chose alignment over approval? Group discussion questions. Where did you learn to abandon yourself? What truth are you currently avoiding? What would your life look like if you lived fully aligned? And the final takeaway said integrity isn't about being a good man, it's about being a whole man. And most people never experience peace because they never come back to themselves. And that was like basically and of everything that I had read as well. But between the lines, it said most people don't change because truth threatens their current life, and integrity requires courage plus loss tolerance. So ultimately, it's a crazy time. You know what I'm saying? It's a crazy season, but it's also like very real to get very real with yourself and where you're at and what you want to do, who you want to be, how you want to be. And that's literally what I coach fathers through is building that integrity by literally diving in, helping them discover their values. And then from understanding their values, understanding what puts them in alignment, and then what values are touched or friction is created and what gets them out of alignment, and then being able to establish the awareness, whether it's on a physical level, because I've watched guys physical, literal like body change. They'll shift position, they'll go from like sitting up to literally more relaxed in the couch. And to be able to watch these things as a life coach, like this is stuff I was literally trained on. So in that is dope because not only one am I having to go through this myself and understanding where I'm at, and then from alignment and morals and values, we move into the life map of just actually determining where you're at on the scale. And then from the life map, we move into what we call intention statements and then creating your fatherhood mission statement. And that's the program that I literally walk dads through. It's an 8-week program. And so being able to do that for fathers continuously, I have 3, 4 guys graduating this next week that just finished the program for the first time. And then also having to do it myself. It's been a whole process. And it's been high key uncomfortable more than it has been comfortable, which I feel like is good because it's just making you aware. So it's smooth. I'm excited. But Marcus, I'll pass to you to close. I got work to do.
I'm glad you
Oh,
brought that. I'm
go
I'm
ahead.
glad you brought that up though about just like being in the season of your life that you're in and being in alignment because that's what integrity feels like. It feels like true alignment. So respect to the game.
Hey, and bro, I was
Amen.
catching bits and parts of it too, man, and it's been cool to see you operate in more of your authenticity as you stepped into it. It was funny as I was reading the introduction, it made me think of you because she was like, I became a life coach and I was getting paid for it before I even had the title. And it's literally what you and I have been doing for years. Like we've been life coaches for people just without the certification until you got your certification, you know? So like your acceptance of that was cool. It made me think of you. I'm gonna have to catch some of the stuff that I missed. Y'all, my guy Nito was on the phone with me. This man has a girlfriend. Praise the Lord. Commitment, doing his thing, bro. And it's real life, one of the coolest things, just because, we've been in like the same season for some time. And he was having a conversation with me yesterday, and um him and his girlfriend have been very intentional with the way that they've been courting and dating with one another. So to see him like literally step into commitment and faith and a transparency there, um, I gave him some advice in having a conversation with her when he already knew like why she was a little hesitant at first. But I'm like, dude, ask a question and seek to understand and give her an opportunity to be seen and heard, not just like act as though, oh, am I frozen? Can you see me? Oh, okay, cool. It's starting to rain down here too, and I didn't know if the Wi-Fi was was cutting out on me. But anyways, yo, he took my advice. I was like, let's go, bro. And he got to have a dope conversation with her. And anyways, just a little praise report. My brother is in a faith-filled relationship, and it's something he's prayed for, and it's really cool to see. So, anyways, I just wanted to share some joy. That's my brother, truly. We got them naked kids on the recording. I love them kiddos, man. That was funny, dude, because they just went boop, boop.
Bro, I
Like
literally was like, dude, stop, you guys. Move.
kids do not give a damn, bro.
Dude, that was hilarious, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay, bet. But bro, I'm gonna have to catch some of your take. And again, just to reiterate, bro, literally beginning when we were bringing that up, it was just to catch up in the convo. I wasn't trying to call you out or anything, bro. at all. I was just getting you in motion there.
Bro,
Um,
you're good. It's okay.
okay, bet.
I
But
appreciate it.
yeah, man.
I believe it was on purpose, and we just had a very like purposeful conversation that I think was actually necessary for all of us anyway to
Yeah,
understand
we're.
where we're
I was
all
gonna
at.
bring it up regardless, because
Right.
because I was like, yo, if no one hops on here, I'll get my cake, and then I'm gonna close this thing out, and we'll have a convo anyways. And then Imani hopped on. I was like, what's up, girl? But
Right. It worked
so
out.
that being said, I am excited for this book as well. I still gotta go through chapter two. I'm not completely done with it. But I really like the exercises that come in each chapter. And I know you talked about it, Imani, a little bit, but like diving in more depth, kind of seeing where we're at. Or you don't have the hard copy, huh? You said you're reading it on Audible. Oh, okay. So on the hard copy, there's like literally like this is chapter two. There's like sections where you can write out.
Oh, I'm about to go buy the book. I was already gonna go buy it because I figured when I started listening to it, I just have been working so much, so I haven't bought it yet.
Yeah,
But I've seen it.
there's a part in the dark wood of error where they ask you intentional questions and you circle true or false, and then you add up the score, and then your score tells you where you're at.
Oh,
Yeah, so she's
oh,
very
I'm
intentional.
on my way.
Yeah. No, but I really love how she I see it as like she is like the way she was writing this is as if she's sitting with you as a client one on one and helping you get to a point of understanding where exactly you're at and how to get into alignment with that integrity so that you can actively realign yourself. And this is why, like in the introduction, she prefaces the journey you're going to go on in finding the way. And she described as a definition in the introduction, the way as both being a process and a path. So I'm going to touch on some things I didn't hear you guys touch on. So the way is not just the direction in which you're going, but it's how you're going in the direction. And I was like, yo, this is powerful because you can define it as either or, but when you do it in a dichotomy of it both, things really do change out. And I've learned this through a lot of trial and error, figuring out what my calling is, what my purpose is. And as I was reading some of these Dark Wood of Errors, I'm just going to start there. I think I am not in as much as alignment as I thought. Like I was debating on even saying that out loud because I'm a very integritous and intentional person. I really am. And I've been working really hard over the last year and some change on moving with more integrity and then with alignment and what I believe God has asked me to do and the man he's asked me to become. Um, how he's asked me to show up despite situations and circumstances and just do what he's put on my in my life to go and accomplish. So as things have transitioned out of my control over the last 3 years in a way that I honestly could have never imagined, I've envisioned it in a faith perspective as God putting me in a season. Yeah, I know. And I know I've seen that. And that's why, like, as I was reading it, I'm like, bro, why do I feel these things as you're explaining it? And why have I experienced some of this stuff when I thought I've already been out of this area? And what I recognize is that, as she was talking about the book, right, in chapter one of the Dark Wood of Error, sometimes you get in the question of like, what am I doing, or how did I get there, or how did I get here? And seeing exactly that a lot of these things that make you feel alone, adrift, and confused is your body explaining to you, hey, you're going in the wrong way. And I'm not gonna lie, like as I was reading it, kind of pissed me off. Because I'm like, yo, I've been I've been intentional about the steps that I'm taking, the actions, the words, and the people that I'm associating myself with. So I've got a lot of inner work to accomplish as I continue reading this book because as I was reading the introduction, and she was saying essentially you're going to go through the wood and then you go through the inferno, and then after you go through the inferno, you go through a cleansing. And this cleansing allows you to get rid of everything that isn't a part of the integrity. And again, just keep it in mind, just because I'm a definition type of guy, and I loved how she started with just definitions. She was like, yo, integrity means intact. To be in integrity is to be one thing, whole and undivided. And I thought I was in cleansing as well. Because after the inferno, when you go through the fire, um, I have it written here. The purgatory of the cleansing allows your external behavior to match your newfound inner truth. And I've been feeling this new sense of revelation and my spiritual calling and what God has asked me to do. I've started to recognize that my conviction has grown so loud to a level that most people don't really experience sometimes ever in their lifetime or choose to avoid throughout their lifetime, meaning like they have the conviction, but they just don't want to really embody and embrace it. And I've been watching this show called The House of David on Amazon Prime. It literally depicts David's story. And they do a really good job of keeping it really biblical. And one of the areas that um, really I related to, right, was David having a conversation with his best friend Jonathan. And they were training, going at it. And Jonathan was like, yo, what is it like honestly, to be anointed? Like, how does that feel? And David explains how, like, it's like this fire and everything is more intense, to how the joy, the excitement, he's like, even the rage, but it's not something I can essentially talk about with most people because they just don't understand. And I feel as though sometimes being anointed is synonymous with being alone. And I haven't re been able to speak it out loud with anybody until I guess you right now. And he was like, but I understand that the Lord is with me. And other people could see that throughout in the Bible, right? The Bible says God was with David. And throughout the depiction of his story, other people chose to follow him because they could clearly see that God was also with David. The favor he had, the things that were occurring in alignment with that. And I'm not saying I'm anointed like David, but I do believe, however, I'm called to a deeper purpose of conviction and understanding of what God is attempting to do and why I believe things haven't occurred in the way that I've put a large, like an extreme, enormous amount of sweat equity into this area of freedom and this area of like fulfillment in my life. And I don't know why the like reading chapter one made me extremely emotional, not in like a grieving type of sense, but in a frustration and annoyance type of sense, because it's not like I haven't been moving with the intention, but this is what got me. I'm not gonna lie. I highlighted it too because it said, I feel enormous gratitude for all of our confusion and despair. These feelings meant that our internal guidance system was working perfectly, signaling in all caps, wrong way, as clearly as they could. With nothing but the best of intentions, we lost the way of integrity. And I'm like, dude, I say this all the time. Like, great intentions are great, but they don't matter when it comes to where you're headed unless you align that with who you're supposed to be, right? You can have all the intention in the world to go to New York, but if you hop on a plane, go into LA, you're going in the opposite direction of where you're meant to go. Like, it's awesome that your intentions were great. You packed your bags, you got up early, you made it to the airport, you went through the process, and you're sitting on a plane. But just because your intentions were great, don't mean that you're like literally doing what you're supposed to be doing. And um, that tripped me out because opening up this book, I'm being transparent, I was expecting to be like really confirmed in who I am. And I feel like I'm just in this journey of putting um the last sense of refinement that God is requiring of me to really steward and hold well what he has in store. And I think that's where I'm at. And I don't say that out of like my own personal reflection, but having conversations not only with people that have mentored me and been friends with me over the years, aka like a Mikhail, but people that I've been to able to mature my spiritual understanding in my faith currently. Those that I've met and have developed relationships with over the last year, they've confirmed that for me, telling me things like, "Hey, God is literally getting you in a sense where you no longer are going to care how it goes. You're just focused on the day to day and what he's doing for you. Your dependence on him is growing." People confirming like, "Hey, bro, you're doing the right things. Stay consistent and it'll happen. Just can't maintain your faith." And I feel like everything has been like really lining up with this. It's almost a sense of annoyance, but it's just a resounding like whisper that sounds really loud. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's in my ear and it's so subtle, but because it's there, it sounds so consistently loud, even though it's subtle. And it's like God's asking me to do something else, I guess, or what I'm doing in a different way. And I'm finding that out. So I'm excited to finish and going through this book because I feel like it's going to add some practical things to my day to day and understanding what I'm doing out of a sense of taking care of things that I feel as though are required of me versus what is required of me by God. And honestly, I don't care about anything else. I really don't. And as long as I like get in motion with what the Lord is asking me to do, then I know that everything He's given me in my mind as a vision is going to come to pass, from speaking to hundreds of thousands to making an impact that is significant and remaining authentically in bliss. But somewhere along the way, this shift has happened over the last few months. And I might not be as much in alignment as I thought I was. And that's kind of difficult to acknowledge, but it's all good. Kind of taking it day by day, one step at a time. Only reason why I say that is because I've been doing the things and I've been changing my perspective as I've been doing them. And I really think the only other reason why it isn't panning out as it's done for others or in the route that I thought is because God has something else differently. Otherwise, He allowed it to occur. It's in His will or it's not, you know? So I've been accepting of that. And why I'm just like in this aspect of acceptance of who God is really refining me towards and being okay with, not being fully understood. I used to feel like I was, but I could relate to the author a lot when she was talking about this sense of approval or this sense of being understood by your peers because of culture, or your family and the social settings that you're in. A lot of what I did was driven to provide an environment for others to become who they are supposed to be, all while I could also do that for myself in the same time, synonymously. But what I recognized that it produced what she called in the introduction as, I have it highlighted here. Um, she called it as like a multiplicity, not a duplicity. A duplicity is when you're torn between nature and culture. Yep. We are in integrity, which is one thing, but in duplicity, it's two things. Or we may try to fit in with a number of different groups, living in multiplicity, many things. And I'm like, yo, I feel like a lot of people fall under this. Even those who feel like they are integrities, like it's so easy to be in multiplicity. I also feel like I'm wearing a multitude of hats. in the season. And I've always talked about, and I feel like this was like a prophetic realization for me that I just want to wear one hat in every setting I go. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be authentically me. And I feel like I've stepped into a more sense of an authentic version of myself. Now it's like we talked about it at the beginning of the call, is aligning what is happening inwardly in the outward and making sure that, you're doing your part and you're allowing the rest to take care of itself. And I've always struggled to figure out that middle ground, not doing too much, trying to have all the control, to not doing enough, right? It's such a difficult dynamic to operate in. But I feel like once you relinquish that full control and you allow yourself to operate where God is asking you to have your step established, that's where the real magic happens. I've recognized that He's allowed me to see that point of view, and now I'm learning how to operate in it and do it real life, period, point blank.
Surrender. You gotta surrender, Lord. Oh, I
I know,
don't.
and I
That's
feel like I've
so much.
surrendered so much already. So I'm like, Lord, what else do you need from me? I've literally asked that question to Him multiple times. And then there's some certain things that, as she's talking about the colliding force, I feel like I struggle in this dynamic because like my heart breaks or I'm annoyed or frustrated with dynamics of culture that don't align with the integritous way that I'm attempting to live. And I'm like, how do I get around even more people now that operate in this sense of integrity and aren't just doing things for the sake of money or doing things for the sake of self-promotion and advancement or doing things for the sake of having fun and distracting themselves or doing things for the sake of pleasure and feeding distractions just so that they can't face what reality is. Like everywhere I go, I feel like I'm a sore thumb, and that's been frustrating, um, to be honest. But
What does that mean?
a sore thumb, it's like you stand out or like you don't fit in. It's just like being an outlier,
Oh, gotcha.
it's a good thing, but it's navigating in those environments of culture and not allowing it to affect me is something that I've progressively grown in over the years. And I feel like I've progressed in and being more efficient at, but I still have work to do because there are certain areas where I pull up and I'm in a situation that I don't want to be in an environment with things that I've removed myself from. And instead of just being bold and authentic, authoritative in myself, I still have this inclination in my mind or this thought that gets brought up of like, I'm annoyed. Like, here we go again. Just pull it up in my crib, another person. And just like, I really just want an aspect of my mind to be like, whatever. And I think it's because I have a big heart and I care, but I need to operate as I believe the examples that God gave us, which was to stay intentional on knowing that you're in alignment. And although it does feel isolating, you're not, you're in solitude. And although you do feel alone, He's literally there with you. So I feel like I've been being exposed on how to do that. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm if there's a small adjustment that needs to be made and my cues of picking up on a lack of integrity have grown so much that I'm like it's just the beginning processes of like, hey, you're about to step off in the wrong way, or if like I'm completely off path and I need to have a whole redirection, and I feel like I'm gonna find that out very soon, just as I dive deeper in my faith and obviously this book. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm a little rambling, but okay, cool. But yeah, that's kind of like what brought up as I was reading intro and the first main chapter. But I think the biggest thing as a reminder is that, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. I choose to suffer in the way of letting go of my flesh and my desires as a sacrifice, the way that God, happy Easter, y'all, reason for the season, but the way that God literally showcased His love for me and for all of us to die and really just take on that punishment, right? Most people don't even really recognize what actually went down. Like they know He got whipped, but they don't know to the extent. They know He carried a cross, but they don't know really how far and what that really entailed, and they know He got crucified, but they don't understand exactly what His body had to endure as that was happening when He could have literally just sent down a legion of angels from jump and not have to deal with any of that. And like to willingly suffer for the sake of others and the advancement of your purpose, is a dynamic that I feel like I'm keeping in mind as I understand this saying of pain is inevitable and suffering is optional, because pain is unavoidable. But I believe we all have to suffer. It's a part of the human experience. I think it's how you choose to suffer, right? So suffering in a way that causes psychological misalignment, otherwise known as cognitive dissonance, doing things that are not in alignment with what you know you're supposed to do or like what you want to become, is completely different than like a divine suffering that's designed to build your character or put others before yourself, right? And not just advance what you got on your table with your responsibilities and your loved ones, but like, what are you doing for the sake of the entirety of the church? And again, I don't know if that's just me diving into my faith as much as I have and knowing what the Bible tells us to do, or if um, or if it's something that people also recognize and just choose to ignore. But the point is, I'm aware of it. So I feel like that has kept me from operating in a sense where I'm just taking care of me and mines, and I'm figuring out how to operate in that in order to take care of people. I've got to take care of me, you know? So um I'm a very grateful individual though. It's not like I'm unhappy or I'm pissed off about my situation, but I do pick up on certain aspects where I call it like the bounce back time, where as a human we're going to struggle with certain things, and it's about like the amount of time you give yourself to bounce back into alignment. And I think that that time frame has over the years grown significantly smaller as I pick up on the cues. So I think that's where I feel like in being lost in the woods is like I believe my internal guidance through the Holy Spirit is like, hey, just a heads up, this is what's popping, and you might need to shift a little versus um hey, pick up your life and try something else completely different. I don't think that's what he's telling me. I'm not trying to be like irrational, but however, am recognizing that he's telling me something, and it's kind of frustrating that I don't know yet. But that's where the waiting comes in, right? One thing no one talked about was like how she started the intro, talking about the plane scenario. Like everyone's buckled in. I'm like, bro, this is my life. But everyone's buckled in. You're ready to go. You're on the plane. And then you're on the runway and they're like, hey, hold on, y'all. We need to make sure the systems are intact. We're gonna have some maintenance and it'll take a little more time. And then everybody's like, oh my gosh. But then everybody settles in knowing that, okay, we're about to be flying thousands of feet in the air in this huge metal machine. I'm glad that they're making sure things are working copacetically. And I really do feel like that's how God got me right now. Like I'm finally on the plane and we about to take off and I'm about to go into the promised land that he's been putting, like this has been years in the line. I'm literally on year 10 or going. July will be 10 years of entrepreneurship for me. It's actually real life. Praise God. I'm super excited. And I've always dreamt about getting to year 10 and knowing that, yo, if I'm at year 10 and my life isn't completely different than when I started, then I'm not going to be doing this anymore. And I'm just going to go back into what I thought was right. And my life is completely different now. It's actually wild. I was having a conversation with my mom on like the different avenues that I've been able to earn income in and how I haven't worked a traditional 9 to 5 in a year and a half, going on 2 years. And it's literally been day by day walking in a faith of not knowing where your check's going to come from, but being confident enough that God is going to provide because you're doing the work to receive the check. And I'm like, quit playing with me. I'm outside and I'm trusting in the Lord and we're doing it, you know? So as I step into year 10, yo, a lot can happen in 3 days, you know what I'm saying? Let alone in a year. So as I step into year 10, I don't know what's going to happen from now until July, but I feel like it's something astronomical and it's going to be like a flood. I don't know what it looks like, but I know I'm being prepared for it. And that's where I feel like I'm at. I'm like on the plane, I'm buckled in, and the Lord's just like strengthening my trust and my patience and understanding that I'm actually in integrity. Like, yo, are you actively being the guy that is leading and doing what needs to be done despite your faults? Like, you're gonna fall, but where's your heart posture when you do fall? And are you just making excuses for remaining in sin? And when I say this, it's not condemning to myself or anybody else. It's more so the sin of choosing to be separate from what God and his presence is, or is your heart posture like, I understand what I've done and this is how I recover. In the Old Testament, it talked about it as was the consecrating. Consecrate. Joshua would tell the Israelites, "Hey, y'all, we've fallen, but consecrate yourselves and prepare for we're about to step in this next step." So consecration requires an intentional recorrection and alignment of what, like being underneath God's submission. So like surrender, as you said, right? So I feel like I'm in this season and like seeing so many people step into this next level. Like one, it's around my circle, so it's bound to happen. I'm thanking God for it. And then two, it's just like, okay, Lord, like, what is it that you have for me? And am I willing to accept what that looks like, even if it's not in the way that I expected it? Right? It's kind of like I've just been very revelationally reflecting over what Jesus did for us. And at the beginning of the week, when Jesus came into Jerusalem, everyone expected a massive army of God's forces to come and overthrow Rome. And instead, Jesus gave them not what they wanted, but what they needed. And I'm like, yo, am I okay with accepting what Jesus is doing in this season with my life, even if it isn't what I think it's going to look like? And if I am, then I'm going to be more in tune with this bliss of having everything in alignment physically, spiritually, emotionally, um, professionally, economically. Like, despite what the circumstances, the situations that we see the world in currently, I can operate in a sense of knowing that, hey, these error symptoms are just signs of saying, hey, let's go through what needs to be changed so that as you walk in the infernal, you can work harder, not on the things that you're currently doing, but you can work more um, smarter as well. Like I hate the saying of like work smarter, not harder. Like you should do both. Like we're capable of doing both. Like work hard and smart. Don't be lazy. So so I keep reminding myself of that, and I'm excited to get through the rest of chapter two. The exercises have been fire. Just understanding where I'm at. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was the end of chapter one. Hold on, then I'm done. So the last paragraph was pretty powerful. She said, if you felt something settle in your body and emotions when you read one more of the statements above, don't ignore it. That slight relaxation is your instinctive response to hearing and, more importantly, speaking the truth. If you can feel it, be proud of yourself. Things aren't perfect, but you're awake to the fact that they're not perfect, and that is everything. You're reconnecting parts of yourself that have been torn apart. Bravely done, and you've taken the first step. And I feel like this is something that I've done continuously because um, I say this pretty often, right? The perception of reality is more real than reality itself for most people. And I've grown to like accept who I am, right? And where I'm at. And in that process, oh my gosh, dude, that sentence of I need help, I really do.
Oh my God, that was the one that got me too. I didn't want to say it earlier, but like that one and the way that I felt once I said it out loud, it was like, oh, like a breath of fresh air, relief. And she said, didn't she say, like, don't underestimate that feeling?
Yeah, she said that slight relaxation is your instinctive response to hearing and, more importantly, speaking the truth. And I feel like that's the part. Like you have to acknowledge what is for what it is, not for what you want it to be. And I know I'm in a season where I need the help. And instead of trying to solve it in my brain and just take care of that with me and God, I feel like God has pushed me to open up about certain things in a more truthful manner with the people around me. And God will help me take care of it through other people too. Like He uses people all throughout the Bible. And I'm working on experiencing this in my real life. So it's been a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it's kind of annoying that I feel like I don't know if I'm like deep in the woods or if I'm like almost on the way out type of vibe, but I'm in there somewhere and I'm gonna find out. I'm just gonna keep it moving. But this is honestly the last thing I'll say. The thing with that is like, have you ever heard of the story of like there's a person who's lost in the woods and he can't see his way out and he's like calling out to God like, "Yo, where do I go? I can't see the correct direction." And God spoke to him and said, "You can see the next step. Take that one." So it's like you don't know where to go, but if you focus in on what you can do now, what is in your control, you can take the next step towards where you're supposed to be, and that'll make all the difference. That is easier said than done, but it's possible. It's a very simple thing to do, though, if you think about it. It's just a step, and the next step that you can see, and that'll get established. But that might come with a lesson, or that might come with a blessing. Either or, everything is in alignment for you to get out of the wood. So, yeah, I'm working on it. It's a
Beautiful.
powerful book though. I'm really excited for
Hmm.
the rest of it. Um, but yeah, I think some things might need to change depending on what happens to. I really, for some reason, I don't know why this Easter season has been like feeling significant in my soul. Like I've always, like Easter has always been something that's came and gone for me, and I enjoyed it with family. I've understood what has happened, but I think like just my spirituality being grown in my soul's relationship with God. I don't know why I feel like something significant is going to occur. So I'm gonna see how this month goes.
I'm on
And
Resurrection Sunday.
dude, I don't know what's about to happen, but something's new. Something's
Mm,
new. And I can feel it too. You had brought it up as well, like the drinking stuff. I have found myself drinking, and it's like something that I enjoy in terms of like a glass of wine in the day or a beer to vibe out. But now I feel like it's no longer that, and that's different. So I think he's
mm,
like, yo, you need to let that go. And it's very annoying to speak out loud because I've let go of so much already. Like I've literally let go of smoking. I haven't smoked in a very long time. And there are times where I've been wanting to, but like I no longer desire it. And
mm,
I recognize the want to is a distraction of what I'm facing versus the actual smoke and the high because I used to love that feeling. I really did. The smell of it, like I can
mm.
recall the nostalgia of like everything that dealt with that. But most recently, like I passed by an aspect of like where I used to struggle with the thought process of it every time, like this one little area that I'd spent years getting high at. And like most recently, over the last like 3, 4 months, every time I walked by it, there's been no desire of weed, even though that has been such a big part of who I am and my identity for a very long time. And I know God has been changing me over time. So like this kind of like it feels like a low, but in trading, we know about this thing called higher highs and higher lows. And overall trend in that direction is up, right? If you have a high and then a low, and a high that's higher than the previous, and a low that's higher than the previous low, and that continues in the same trend, we call that a bearish, or excuse me, a bullish market. And that means that the overall trajectory of the trend is in the upwards direction. So as I've been going through life and staying open and accepting to what is, I've recognized how my bounce back times are and those periods of times where I feel like at a low are not the same that I used to experience back in the day. Like I'm feeling everything now versus covering it. I'm being intentional. So I know I'm
Awareness.
in the right direction. It's just difficult because I'm not. I, yeah, I have a bottle of wine. I really do, and it's like literally in my room. And I don't know if that's gonna be the last bottle, but it feels like that's gonna be. And it's actually wild because I've been drinking and smoking since I was like 12, 13. And if you do, that's that's 15 plus years. Like, what are we talking about? Right? So I'm like, I don't know. God is doing a lot of difference in my life, and I'm staying consistent on on it. I don't know if he's calling me to like a ministry and just giving up everything and just doing something in that regard. I don't know if he's calling me to just let go of this need of feeling like I've got to bust my butt in order to make the bills because I
Mm,
what you said earlier in the conversation where like it's not this like your authenticity and your integrity is not aligned with this ability to create income. In fact, there's a law of compensation, and I've told you about this, that states that the amount of money that you receive is equivalent to the value you bring to whatever service you provide in the marketplace you're in, period, point blank. The more valuable you are as a person, the more income is going to be attracted to you, and it'll be almost effortlessly, sort of how she was getting paid as a life coach before she was even a life coach and getting clients. And she was like, this is different. so, so I'm like, yo, I'm recognizing that as well. And it's just a different season for me. You know, I'm used to mentoring people, and I've done that for some time. And I feel like God has taken and given me a new opportunity to do that in service to others in a way that I haven't really been in before, and it's new. Um, So I'm learning to let go of this longing for what was and accepting for what is so that I can operate more authentically for what will be. And that's hard, but it'll be worth it, I think.
yeah, that's how I feel right now. I'm like, I respect it. I get it. I'm living it. I'm actually really happy we're going through this book right now. It's actually everything that I needed for myself. I mean, God, working two jobs has just been a lot, and I'm ready to let go of one. Crazy enough, on good days at the restaurant, I'm making really good money for it being a slow restaurant. So it's like interesting when you put it in that perspective of like, the value that you bring in service is what
Yeah,
you get back. And I'm looking to transition. And like you said, very curious to see how this book can help with that because so far it's just like the even reawakening awareness, that may have been lost behind certain circumstances and situations. You don't really realize it that it's lost and needs to come back is a huge thing. So,
I agree.
what a great start to this damn book.
It's actually powerful. You should definitely get the book though, sis, because I feel like you would enjoy
Oh,
the
I will. I will. I'm getting it. I have a recording to do today, so I'm doing that, and then I'll actually go out because if I go out in the wild and come back, I'm not going to record.
yeah.
Record first, wild work.
Well, hey, for the recording, we appreciate y'all tuning in the podcast. Shout out Mr. Steele for jumping in. No, but in real life, man, I'm grateful for the space. And next week we'll be reading chapters 3, 4, and 5. But I'm gonna stop the recording. All right, much love, y'all. Have a good week. Bye.